Hello and welcome back to Friday Minis. Now, I'm going to show you two different text files, alright? I'll open them in two different notepad windows, and as you can see, they look identical, right? It seems that they have the same text inside. But what I'm going to do now is I'm just going to look at the properties of each one of these files, then you'll see quite clearly that the file sizes are different. Turns out these files are not the same at all. Ladies and gentlemen, today let me introduce you to a very interesting character in the Unicode set, and that would be the zero width space. That's right, it is a space that takes up no space, if that makes sense. A zero width space is exactly what it is. It's a character that takes up no width at all, essentially making itself invisible. In fact, these two text files are different because, well, I've sprinkled a number of zero width spaces inside. Of course, they're invisible, they're zero width, and as a result, you don't see them. Now, there are obviously reasons to have such a character, right? It can be used for certain languages that, need to display things in a certain way, but having this creates some very interesting effects. For example, you can use this as a kind of digital fingerprint that is completely invisible. If you're worried that someone's going to copy and paste your work, right? It could be code, it could be just plain text. Sprinkle some zero width spaces into it. If someone were to copy and paste your content, they would be inadvertently copying and pasting, the stuff you sprinkled in. Sure, they can try and pretend it isn't by changing things here and there, but as long as you can still find some of the zero width spaces in there, you can say that, hey, you've probably taken it from here because you haven't removed them completely. This could also potentially be used to mislead people, right? In places where, you're expecting things to read a certain way, someone can pretend to be that thing by actually replacing certain characters with zero width spaces. Now, it looks the same, but the string is actually different, right? The text content is actually different. One example of this would be in the URL of a website, but thankfully, measures are put in place to prevent this from being abused. Luckily also, not every text editor will render a zero width space correctly. And of course, if you're paranoid, you can always do a find and replace, which will of course pick up on the zero width spaces. If you want to add zero width spaces on your code, all you need to do is to find, the appropriate character, copy it, and you can start pasting it in places, right? And it'll look exactly the same. So yeah, crafty things you can do with Unicode. That's all there is for this particular episode of Friday Minis. Thank you very much for watching, and until next time, you're watching 0612 TV with NERDfirst.net. Thank you very much for watching. If you like my work and are feeling generous, you can shoot me a one-time donation on PayPal or sign up for a recurring one on Patreon. Of course, you can simply like, comment, and subscribe. You know the deal. For more videos, links to my channel and a related playlist are on screen. Thank you for your support.